Hi, my name is Noma and I'm recording from Johannesburg, South Africa. This is my second recording, so this is podcast number 2. I did the first one sometime, I think that was last month, and I had hoped to do the second one much sooner, but well, life happened. I had a lot of stuff happening at the same time, and for those of you who don't know, I've got a 1 year old and a 7 year old, so my schedule is a bit tricky, and for me to get to sit down and record it actually takes a lot. So you'll most likely be hearing the little one's voice. I try to tell everyone else to be quiet, but well, she's not probably going to do that. So you're going to be hearing her voice, whether she'll be crying or talking, but I hope that won't cause any disturbances. So I've been doing a lot of summer knitting, and I've been enjoying it very much. And the weird thing that I noticed is that most of the summer designs that I've been knitting are stockinette stitch, and that can be a bit, well, not so exciting to knit. But I've realized that it's actually coming very handy for me because sometimes I have to try to get my daughter to sleep, and whilst I'm busy with that, I can be knitting even if it's dark in the room. So it does help quite a lot to have a lot of stockinette stitch projects. So that's what I've been doing. So I'll be showing most of those later on. And the other thing that I just wanted to talk about is I've been working on changing my processes. So, well, in the past few years, I only had to deal with one child, and she normally plays with herself and doesn't interrupt when I'm working. So it was easy to get down and do my work. But lately, I can't do that. I have to juggle everything at the same time. So I've been trying to minimize the number of whips that I'm working on at any given time. There was a time when I could actually juggle about 6 or 7 projects, but now I'm trying to minimize that to about 3. And if I've got a fourth one, maybe it would be socks. So I've been trying to minimize the number of works in progress that I have. So what I do now is, as soon as I finish a project, bind it off, block it, write the pattern, send it out for testing, I can then start a new one so that I maintain the same number of projects at the same time. I'm trying not to get myself too overwhelmed because as I'll be showing you now, you'll realize that there are still some projects that I was working on early last year, and some are from 2019, which I was working on when I got pregnant, and I couldn't finish them because I wasn't well the entire time. I was just focusing more on commissions that I'd already signed contracts for. So I've still got a lot of outstanding whips that I had already started, but I couldn't finish. So I'm getting through them as I go, as we move through the seasons. So right now I'm just finishing up the summer designs that I had started already a year or 2 ago, and a couple of new ones. So the new process has really helped me a lot. I've managed to finish a lot of stuff, and I've got so much that's gone to my tech editor, and I think in the next few weeks I'll be done with most of my outstanding work. There are some projects that I haven't shown yet that I won't be showing until sometime maybe in July, when I start working on the colder on stuff for the colder months. So right now I'm just focusing on the summer designs, but soon I'll be doing my worsted weight projects that are still, sitting in the projects bag. So there's quite a number of stuff, but I'm just hoping that by the end of this year I'll be done with all the old projects, and I'll be just focusing on the new ones that I'm working on at the moment. So now I'll just start off by showing you my finished objects. So I've only got 2. There's this pullover. What did I call it, by the way? Oh, it's called Tandega. No, it's Tandiwe, which means beloved. That's a Zulu name. It's beloved. So, okay, this one has got some makeup on because we were doing a photo shoot recently. Please don't mind that. It's a raglan pullover, and it's knit from the top down, and it's striped right from the top up right to the bottom, and the sleeves are also striped as well. So the concept for this one was mainly based on having a basic pullover, and at the time I wasn't keen on knitting something that's just a single color, so I decided to stripe it, and it makes it more fun to work on a striped project. So that's why I used very neutral colors on it, because I wanted something that could blend with the entire wardrobe. So for this one I used um, African Expressions Joy, and the colors, actually the color numbers are 1001, and I think the light gray is 1057. I'm not so sure, but I think that's the code for this one. So it's a very light gray and off-white. So this is one finished object. I have this pattern back from the tech editor, so I'll probably be posting a test call soon. And then the next one is the Aventurine Tea. Okay, so I recently posted a test call for this one. When I did my first podcast, I didn't show this project because I hadn't started working on it already. So I worked on it between that first podcast and a week or so ago. So it's knit from the bottom up, and you increase just a few stitches to create the sleeves, and then when you get to the top you just do some ripping and a 3 nickel bind off on the seams. And so it's a boat neck, so it's straight, so there's absolutely no shaping on this one. You're just knitting the round from the bottom, and then separate the back and the front, and then increase the stitches for the sleeves and knit up. So it's a very simple project, but you get to have some fun working on these dropped stitch cables. I don't know if you can see the lacy look, but it's just drop stitches that are then cabled, and once you do that you get some lace effect. And the good thing about this drop stitch knitting is that it increases your inches very fast. So whilst you're working on your project and you have drop stitches, you realize that you get more length much faster. So that's what I enjoyed about this as well. I enjoyed the capping and not knitting basic stockinette all the time like I've been doing with the rest of my projects. And this is how this one looks. Let me hold it right in front of me so you can see it. So this one is knit with Nurturing Fibers Eco Cotton, and the color is Aventurine, hence the name Aventurine Tea. I wasn't very creative with naming that one. So the next one, okay, these are all the finished projects that I've done. There's one project that I've been working on much longer than I should, and it's a pair of socks. I've only finished one. So it's some lace pattern, and it's knit from the cuff down with a heel flap and gusset. So I've been working on this for a couple of weeks. I don't even know why I'm taking so long with it, but I think I've just been prioritizing other things and not getting down to knitting this project. So the second one is almost done. I'm almost halfway through the foot. So as you can see, I've made much progress on it. And for this sock, I was using Miss Lamotian's twist sock, and the color is linen. So I've already tested this pattern. It's been tech edited. I was hoping to get it published this week, but I think I'll do that on Monday. I think I'll have time to finalize everything over the weekend, so I'll probably be publishing it on Monday. And then my next work in progress is a top that I've only shared on Instagram. It's called Namisa, and it's also knit from the top down and it's got a 4 seam. So what I did with this seam was I bound off all the stitches. Let me bring it much closer. So I bound off all the stitches and then only picked the stitches that and picked back the same number of stitches through the back loop. So it creates this very pretty seam, and it really creates a nice demarcation line when you want to separate to the top from the bottom. And I did the same thing with my Tisetso cardigan, and I like the way it looked, so I used the same concept here. So with this top, it's also knit from the top down, and the top is just 1 by 1 ribbing, and then the bottom is stockinette. So I literally doubled my stitches here at this point. So it's a very flowy and loose fitting top. So with this one, the trick is to make sure that it fits well on the shoulders, because it's the rest of the body, the stockinette body, only starts just above the bust. So your bust size doesn't really affect the fit of the garment, because it's going to be loose and flowy from that point. So the most important thing is to make sure that it fits well on the shoulders. So I'll write that in the pattern as well, to make sure that anyone who needs the pattern is able to choose the right size based on the width of the width from one shoulder to the other. So that's the most important part with this particular one. So it's almost done. I think I'll add some short rows at the bottom to increase length at the back and make it slightly longer, maybe by just 2 inches. I'll see when I get to the bottom, but I'm almost done with this one as well. And I think by the end of next week I'll be putting out a test call, because I want to get it published in sometime early July. So I'll have to work very fast on this one. And the yarn is Nurturing Fibers Eco Cotton, and the color is London. So it's a very beautiful color. It's a light gray with some speckles of pink, blue, and purple. So it's a very beautiful yarn, and it really works well with the design that I had in mind. I was worried that it might not work because of the colors, but it's come out really nicely. And then the next one is a pullover that I had started. I showed just the yoke on my first podcast. This is also knit from the top down. It's raglan and it's got stripes. So I held 2 strands of mohair, and I was using Cocon yarns. I think this is Cocon Blue. It's some limited edition yarn. As you can see, I did some striping, but the striping is not exactly even. So the top part has got the 2 stripes. There's the white band, and then there's the 2 small stripes at the bottom again. And I'm going to do the same on the sleeves. So I've already picked up the stitches for the sleeves, but I haven't started working on them yet. I'm hoping to get this one done by the end of the weekend, so I'll try to work as fast as possible, and it will also be ready for testing soon. So I've got a whole lot of test calls that are coming up, and for anyone who's interested in testing any of my patterns, I normally put my test calls on Instagram, and you can just respond with your email address and your Ravelry username if you are on Ravelry. So I know quite a number of people are not on Ravelry, and they are still welcome to test the patterns. It's not just those that are on Ravelry that get to test. So I work with testers that are not on Ravelry as well, because all the feedback that I get is very important and much appreciated. So this is the pullover that I've been working on. So I'm planning on making the sleeves about 3/4 length. I'll see as I work, because I was trying to make sure that I get the same number of lines, so the sleeves will follow the same pattern, like the body, so I'll see how long that will become. I want to make sure that it's exactly the same length, so I'll work around that and see how it turns out. And then my next work in progress is a vest. Okay, so on this one I was using double moss stitch, so it's textured throughout. So what I did with this project was it's top down, and I made sure that the sleeves were built in, so it's 1 by 1 ripping on the sleeves. I wanted to make sure that it's built in and I don't pick up the stitches later. So the stitches for the sleeve also go down the side right up to the end, to the bottom of the vest. And the stitches that I picked up as well are also knit in 1 by 1 rip. So I just wanted to create this to make the sides ripped for a better fit. So that's why I decided to start the ripping at the top on the armhole, so that it just flows right down to the bottom. Okay, that's the back. And the front. So I noticed when I was done with the neckline that I picked too many stitches, so it's a bit floppy. I'll have to redo that when I'm done with the project. It's supposed to fit much tighter than this because it's very loose at the front, so I'll have to fix that and pick the stitches again. But I'm loving the look, and I love the wide neck, so that even if you've got a collar, if you're wearing a collared shirt, it can still come out looking nice and it doesn't get scrunched up. So this is the vest that I've been working on. So I'm planning on working on this and finishing it tonight, because I'm only left with just a few rows. I think I'm left with about 15 rows for the back. So I'll probably be doing that in the evening today. And right now I think it's past 6, but I'll do that late at night when the kids are asleep. I'll just sit down and do some serious knitting. I was hoping to get this blogged and the pattern written before the weekend, so I'll try to work as fast as possible on this one. And then the last one on my works in progress that I'll be showing is a project I've been working on since 2019. I started working on it, I think it was sometime in October or November, and somehow I didn't get it finished. I've finished the body and now I'm only left with the sleeves. So it's also another raglan top. So just for the record, the raglan sleeve is not exactly my most favorite sleeve, but it's just a coincidence that I'm currently working on only raglan sleeved sweaters. My favorite would most likely be the drop sleeve. I just love the look and the fit of it. I think it's very modern, particularly when you've got slim fitting sleeves. That's the look that I'm loving at the moment. But somehow, by some miracle, I've only got raglan sleeves today. So this is the top. I'm using some gradient yarns. So this is the Smoke Fade by Miss Lamotte Yarns. I was using 4 colors on this project. As you can see, the colors are faded. It's some shades of gray. So it's Smoke 1, Smoke 2, Smoke 3, and Smoke 4. So I worked this project in flounces. As you can see, the bottom layer. And then the next one. Okay, let me try to hold it like this. So what I would do, I did was I did double the length on the bottom layer, and then I kept the stitches on a separate needle, and then I worked on this on half the length of the bottom one, and then I joined the two together. it's almost like just doing a 3-nil bind off, only I wasn't binding off. So that's how I worked on it. And then after joining the 2 layers, I worked the same length as this to create the background for the next flounce. And then I did the last flounce like this. So what I did with the bodice, because I didn't want to work on it from the bottom up throughout, I worked on the bodice from the top down, and then when I got to the middle, I kept the stitches on the needle and the ones from the body on the needle as well, and I did some Kitchener. I joined the top and the bottom using Kitchener stitch. So it's a lot of work to join the two, but I love the finished look. You can't even tell that the 2 pieces were Kitchener together. It just looks seamless. I don't know if you can see that, but I just prefer knitting the. I preferred knitting the cardigan that way. I just didn't like the idea of doing decreases on the sleeves. It just felt like a lot of work for me. I think maybe someone else might think of it or look at it in a different way, but I just figured it was easier for me to just Kitchener the whole thing together. So that's more than 200 stitches to Kitchener, but I think once you get into the rhythm of things, I don't think it took me more than an hour. I think it was around an hour and some few minutes or so, but it was quite fun to just see the seamless finished project. As you can see, it joins quite seamlessly. So now I'm on to the sleeves. So that's how the whole body looks. So now I'm on to the sleeves, and I think that means I've got 5 works in progress. But since this is an old one, like I said, I'm only maintaining 4 at a time, so I think I'm not deviating much from my resolution. So as soon as I'm done with these 2 over the weekend, I'll most likely be starting on something new. So I wanted to show you some yarns that I received since I did my last podcast. So all the yarns that I've got are from Nurturing Fibers. That's where I ordered my yarns. So the first ones that I want to show are these colors. This is Cherry Blossom and Luna. So I'm not sure if you can see them clearly on my screen, but it's a light pink and a light beige. I'll be working on some ankle socks using these 2 colors. So I'm planning on starting on them over the weekend. So I was so tempted to wind these skeins, but I figured that I should just wait and show them here. So that's my next project. I'm going to be working on some very simple mosaic pattern, and there'll be ankle socks, so I'm hoping they'll work out pretty fast. And then the next ones are some cotton yarns. Okay, let me hold them like this. So I'll be using this for a top. It's a summer top with some striping. So I think I'm doing a lot of striping this season again, but well, coincidentally that's what I ended up with. It wasn't a planned theme or something, but when I was working on my projects, I realized that I've got a lot of stripes and I'm really enjoying the striping. So I'm using these colors for the new project that I'll be working on. Probably by the time I shoot my next video, I'll have made some progress on this one. So the main color is going to be this brown. The color of the name is Cocoa. So that's what I'm going to be using for the neckband, the sleeves, and the bottom band. And it's going to be on repeated after each color. So it's going to be this color and this and the brown, and then the pink, and then I'll do the brown again, and the slight orange and the brown. So the colors that I've got is Cocoa, and this one is Sun-Kissed Coral, and I've got Seashell, and the last one is Pickled Ginger. So those are the 4 colors for the top I'm working on. Initially I planned to do it as a top down satin sleeves top, but I'm thinking of just making it a simple top with the like tiny sleeves built in, so that it's much easier to knit. I don't know why I'm going for the easier route, but I think it's because the other project that I'm working on is going to be a bit more intricate. So the other project that I'm planning to cast on is going to use the same yarn, Eco Cotton, and the color is fawn. So on this one I'm planning to have a giant lace motif. It's going to be very big. So the sizes are going to be limited, I think, because I'll be working on some very large, I think maybe one pattern repeat will have about 40 stitches. So I'll make sure that I try to have as many sizes as possible, but I think to be on the realistic side, I might have 4 to 5 sizes only, but it's going to be a loose fitting top, so it's going to be to fit different body shapes and sizes. So I don't think that's going to be a problem, but it's going to be more intricate. So that's why I want to make the other project much simpler, well, so that I don't work on 2 very difficult projects at the same time. So the only difference with the one I was talking about earlier is that I'll just change up the sleeves. I might still do the satin sleeves, but I'll see when I start working on the 2, depending on how it works out when I'm casting on. So the next project that I'll be casting on is a pink top down circular yoke sweater. So what I'm planning to do, and I hope it works out, is some lace circular yoke sweater. So the yoke is most likely going to be stockinette, and then the lace is going to be on the rest of the body. I just wanted to change it up from what I do sometimes. Mostly the yoke is lace, and then the rest of the body is stockinette, but I just want to twist the 2 around and see how it turns out. So that's my next project. I'm so excited about it. I've already wound one of the skeins. That's why I'm only carrying 3. I think it's going to take 4 skeins, and I'm hoping that it turns out as I've anticipated it to turn out. I'm not so good at drawing sketches, so I normally keep my ideas in my head and hope they turn out well. I only draw sketches when I'm doing some submissions, and even then I don't think my sketches are so great. But so my idea is still sort of like stuck in my head, but I'm just hoping that it will work out just as well as I've anticipated it to work. And then the next project that I'll probably be doing in the next few weeks is a pair of socks. This is some bright green. I don't know, it's greenish yellow, but it's more green. So this is sunlit kelp, and I'm loving this color. It just looks so bright. So I'm going to do some it looks intricate, but it's not so intricate. It's some intricate lace pattern. So this is also going to be a summer sock. I'm hoping to start on this as soon as I finish the other pair, so that'll be coming soon. And then the next project that I've got for this is also for a pair of socks. It's going to be some mosaic pattern as well, and I'm so excited to mix those 2 colors. So for this season I just wanted to do some very soft colors that are light and bright for my socks, that are light but not too bright, sorry. So I've got pear, and the other color is glacier. So those are the 2. This is another mosaic pair of socks that I'll be working on. And then I also ordered this, but this one is going to come in much later. The color is chestnut. It's another pair of socks. I had the idea sometime last year, but I was just thinking of the color that will work best with it. So it's going to have a bit of some cables and some texture to it. So I'm probably going to work on this one maybe sometime in August, but I just wanted to show you the answers from my latest haul. The color is chestnut, like I said, and I'm probably going to be working on this in August, and the pattern will come out either in September or beginning of October. So I'm excited about this one too. It's a very beautiful color. And then the next two, another pair of socks. So with this one I've got charcoal and silver. So it's also going to be a colorwork sock. So I'm not so sure which pattern I'm going to use on this one, but I just wanted to have some more dramatic colors, because this is not going to be a summer design. It's coming much later in the year, but I'm probably going to do some color work, whether it's mosaic or it's some stranded color work. I'll still just come up with some idea along those lines to use the two colors together. I think they look great. It's just some very dark gray that looks almost black and silver, but I'm loving the two colors working together. I was considering just doing a silver pair of socks, but I just thought, well, let me just give it a bit more of some impact. So the black is probably going to be the main color, with the cuff, the heel, and the toe in black, and the silver will be the contrast color. So I'm just hoping that it will work out just fine. And then the last batch of yarns, this is some medium shade of brown, and it almost has some grayish look to it. So it's some grayish brown, and the color is called driftwood. Let me hold this closer. It's driftwood. This one is going to be a colorwork sweater, so I'm going to use some of the colors that I've shown here. It's just going to have a bit of some sprinkling of different colors. I'll try to get them to match up. I'm still working on the mix of colors that I'll use, but the concept has already sort of like taken shape. So this is going to be a circular yoke pull over, and I'm hoping to get it ready for the fall for those that are in the northern hemisphere. So it's going to have some more, the motif is going to be more of some lines and shapes that are zigzag. Sort of, I'll see how it works out, but that's the idea that I had in mind, to have some neutral color, and I'll just try to spice it up. I'm not sure which colors I'll use yet, because I'm still swatching some different ideas on it, but I'm looking forward to working on this one as well. So these are all the yarns that I acquired recently. I've got a couple of things that are still coming through in the mail, but most of those are for the fall or winter designs. So like I mentioned to you on my first podcast, that I've already worked on the concept for my winter designs. So because of the delays with shipping and any eventualities, I'm trying to make sure that I get all the yarn right now. So with my winter designs, I'm looking at comfort knitting all these super comfortable, plush, cozy yarns. So most of the designs, they are going to be either in worsted or DK weight, and the colors that I'm using are more like this chestnut yarn. So I'm using shades of brown and some shades of some natural colors and some shades of green, particularly olive green. So I'm working on these warm colors for the collection. So I'm getting everything picked up, and I'm ordering my yarns and everything, because I'm so excited about the project. So I think I've acquired the yarns for almost half of the project. So I'm so looking forward to working on that collection. My summer designs are almost done. I think I'm only left with the 3 that I was showing just now, and some pair of socks. So I'm really looking forward to showing you, and I'm hoping that I'll get a chance to do another video soon. Hopefully I'll be done with the current projects that I'm working on, and I'll have cast on some new projects. So I'm hoping to do another recording early next week, and then I'll also be having a photo shoot soon, because I've got a pile of stuff already that's done. And this time I won't be doing a studio shoot where we found it a very, I almost say perfect, and I think it really is. We found a very beautiful venue to do our shoot. It's got these huge trees and some very interesting dark colors to it, because I didn't want some very light background like I normally do with my studio shoots. So it's got some very beautiful tall trees, and it's some park. It's right in the city. Somehow I always missed it, and I'm so excited about doing a shoot there, and I'll be sharing most of the photos on Instagram as soon as I get them back, and I'll probably share more of them when I get the patterns published. So at the moment my patterns are available on Ravelry and on Lovecrafts. I'm also working on my website, but it's taking much longer than I expected. So I'm hoping that at least by the time we get to September, I'll be having the website up and running and set up properly. So that's the other stuff that's also keeping me busy. So I'm hoping to see you soon, and I'll probably try to record another video sometime next week and show you what I've been working on. Please don't forget to subscribe and just share this video with your friends. And the other thing that I'm planning on doing next week is a video on rectangular wraps and the different construction methods that you can come up with. I've already got the outline done, so I'm hoping that I'll get a chance to actually sit down for about 45 minutes to an hour and just do that video. So I'll suggest that you subscribe if you want to do some more learning. So as much as I'll be doing podcasts, I'm also going to be doing tutorials and some presentations like the one that I'm talking about on rectangular wraps. So it's going to be presentation style. It won't exactly be a tutorial on how to knit a wrap, but I'll be showing the different styles and how to choose a pattern that actually works, that you can actually enjoy, because mostly rectangular wraps are considered to be not so exciting. But I just want to talk about the different construction methods that you can use in working on the wraps. So I'll probably be posting that later next week. I think I'm just trying to remember what I planned in terms of my schedule. So I'll try to do that, and I'll also do a podcast at in the next few days. So I look forward to seeing you again and recording another video. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.